Hey guys, day 7, good job, well done. And hey, we're doing a bit of right hand work today. You have been working hard. I just practiced myself all through the 6 days worth of exercises just then, you know, so just going up the scale, doing it chromatic with the thirds and then doing the chords. And gee, the chords took me a little bit of time. I did it without the notation. Which has really helped, I think, put it into my mind. So I'm interested to see how I go tomorrow with that, and when I do the whole thing again. So we only got one more day of some exercises, and then we're going to apply it to some tunes, all right? And so, of course, we're not going to be doing that in every key with the tune or anything like that, so don't stress out about that. All right, so, hey, so we're basically just starting the scale kind of like a mode in a way, you know, we're starting the same scale in different spots, right? Now, if you've been practicing the chords, you'll kind of know that the second chord, well, each alternating chord is the major 6 and then the other one is the diminished. If you're doing the 6 and following that one, when you're doing the 7s, and it's a little bit different, but we're not doing that today, all right? So this is actually, I think, an easier task, and hence in the workbook I only gave you the C major example because I think you can work out the rest for yourself. All right, so we're just going up. Try and get some fingering that works for you. You can change the chord, you don't really need to. Well, I should change that there. So we're up to the G. All right. Give it a bit of a swing. Notice how I'm swinging by accenting but not going long, short, long, short. So there's a couple of different types of swing you can do. If I give you a very, very brief history of jazz from my point of view, and I could be wrong, but from my point of view, right, is that jazz was doing, you know, started off with ragtime, you know. I don't really play ragtime very much, so that was just something I just thought of then. But you know, but I'm not really. That's maple leaf rag, but you know, I don't really practice any of that kind of stuff much anyway. But that was very long and then short. It was actually a dotted quaver or a dotted eighth note, and a semi-quaver, or a 16th note, right? So it was like a 3-to-1 kind of ratio, all right? When the jazz was becoming more about swing rather than kind of that ragtime kind of stuff, so we're talking more Louis Armstrong, Glenn Miller, that kind of era, the 30s and 40s, jazz started to get like 2/3 to 1/3, so one da 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 da, like a triplety kind of feel, one and da da. Right, now some of jazz, or a lot of jazz, still has that kind of a feel, right? So it's like, all right, fairly long, short, okay? Now there's a more modern approach to that swing is more like, if we will break it down into quintuplets, we're looking at like 3-to-2, or even, and the bebop guys used to do this, and still do, of course, those that, you know, focus and do bebop a lot. It's really actually half-half, but an accent. So Bud Powell, you know, when he's playing ridiculously fast, to get the swing feel without actually doing long, short, would literally just go. All right, just loud, soft, loud, soft, loud, soft, louds. Make the louder one on the offbeat, right? And so that's how you could swing this if you wanted to do that with this exercise, or you could swing it somewhere in 3/2. Reality is when I'm playing, and you know, we've all got our own sound, we've all got our own voice, right? I actually kind of move in between the half and the ratio of 3-to-2. Somewhere through that, and I'll push and pull on that a little bit, and particularly when I'm playing with a band, I'll actually play sometimes behind the drummer, sometimes right on top of it, his beat or her beat, you know, that kind of thing, all right? So anyway, practice this with a swing, right? And you can comp a little bit if you want to. Well, my fingering wasn't great there. All right, I should have moved that across for you. All right, so, all right. That's not too hard, right? Give it a bit of a swing, have a bit of fun with that. You can play different voicings with the left hand if you want to as well. You could swap it around if you wanted to play it with your left hand and play some chords in the right hand, go for it. Or you want to kind of, you know, do something like just play some more kind of shell voicing kind of ideas in your left hand. You could have a crack at that as well. Some variations of this if you wanted to. You could go up the major 6 scale and come down the diminished chord. It's not a diminished scale, but you know, there's the right, all of the, so what's happening here, and this is one of the great things about this particular scale, is that all the important notes are happening on 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the beats. 1, 2, see that's, you know, that's an important, right? 3, 4. All right, so that's why it kind of works really quite nicely, right? Okay, so, but if you're just, you know, you're going to the diminished, that still works, right? So you could go up something like this. You could do something like that, right? Just muck around with that a little bit and see how you go with that, kind of get used to it a little bit. Try it out in a couple of keys or try it out in all 12 keys, depending on how hard you're finding it so far. Eventually, you want to try and do that in all 12 keys and you'll be smashing, because whenever it comes up, if F sharp, you know, comes up, you know, even though you don't play it very often, you'll be able to kind of, you know, get straight into it and just go for it. Now, I did want to say, there was, I don't feel like I explained very well the relationship between the diminished intervals and the dominant chords yesterday. So here is a better explanation as I thought about it, you know, a little bit last night, is that if you take a diminished 7 chord, like the 7 chord, if we just go back to normal chords, right? If you take the 7th chord, it's kind of like a dominant chord, right? Okay, and that's a diminished, right? Now, if you make that a flat 9, okay, what you end up here is a full diminished chord. It's not a half diminished chord, right? So G7 flat 9 is a G bass with you know, a B diminished 7 chord, right? Now, the interesting thing about, and we've been finding this in this practice, the 10-day practice, you know, that we've been doing, because we've been playing a lot of diminished chords, is that there's only 3 diminished chords, right? And it's really just inversions of those 3 chords. That gives you the, you know, the 4 different inversions of the 3 chords give you your 12 chords, right? That, you know, B diminished, D diminished, F diminished, A flat diminished, and back to B diminished, right? Because every interval is a minor third, right? So it works out really well. So that's actually 4 chords. Okay, so all I need to do is change the bass note. So this is G7 flat 9. If I change the bass note to a B flat, that's literally B flat 7 flat 9. Okay? Does that make sense? I hope it does, right? If I go up a minor third again, play the same notes, that's literally D flat 7 flat 9 or C sharp 7 flat 9, okay? And here, E7 flat 9, okay? So there's the flat 9 when it's E. All right, let's show you the G. I'll just go different inversion, right? So there's my 7 flat 9, okay? As I go to the B flat, there's my flat 9. As I go to the D flat chord, there's my flat 9. And What's left? E. Well, that's really close. The E and the F there. That doesn't really work in my opinion. A little bit too dissonant for me, and I love a bit of dissonance. Change the inversion, that works beautifully, right? So that's the 7 there. Sorry, the flat 9 is the F, right? So you can see the link there from the diminished chords and the flattened ninth. The G7 flat 9, the dominant 7 flat 9. All right, hopefully that clears up things. Yesterday's explanation still does work, but this is probably a stronger link between those chords. All right, I'll see you tomorrow, day 8, and then we're getting into a couple of songs. All right, all the best, guys. Bye.